cursor there. So this just goes to show that you can actually see with the side view. It's important to pick up things. You can see, and you can always change the scope if you're not sure. It's when you get here, that's where it's important. Now when you get into the stomach, you can go and give a counterclockwise or anti-clock rotation until you see these folds here, and then you just let yourself go clockwise. And 9 out of 10 times you have a straight pylorus facing you. And when you have this situation, you will hopefully avoid the long loop and your patient will be comfortable. What we haven't touched here and we'll discuss. Are you all doing under propofol or sedation? Who is doing under propofol? Conscious sedation? Propofol. Do you have anesthetist with you or you're doing it yourself? Huh? Yourself? You guys are great. I don't know, I can't do this. ये तो कुछ किया है मतलब ये तो बड़ी अच्छी हुई है. Last time it was an absolute killer. So we use in our practice here in civil hospital all standard ERCPs for stone and stenting. They are all done under sedation. The cases that are done under propofol are mostly those that are repeat or failed ERCP, pediatric ERCP, pregnant ERCP, pancreatic ERCP. So those are the cases generally that we prefer doing under propofol. Expertise की जरूरत पड़ेगी लेकिन समझ नहीं पड़ेगी. Not bad, yeah. This has become very good. So you guys can actually put it and see if you want to, but you have done enough. So the question is, who puts the wire in your unit? Technician. Huh? Another doctor. Not the technician. No technician. So, doctor, just I know you've done enough, but if you want to just show us what is your technique of cannulation and wire exchange. This is purely, we use it for wire exchange. So at least when you're doing that, because now, like Khalid said, you don't do diagnostic ERCP. ठीक है ना, वो diagnostic तब बनती है जब जैसे लास्ट केस में आपने ERCP की और नॉर्मल आ गई था, बट अदरवाइज आप नहीं करते. तो ज़ाहिर है वायर आप डाल रहे होते हैं, कैनुलेट कर रहे होते हैं, वायर गाइडेड कर रहे हैं कैनुलेशन या जो भी करें उसमें आपकी टेक्नीशियन से सारी होती है. There are two systems of wire and accessories. One is the short system. I am not sure आप दोनों short system use करते हैं.
I use for sometimes very mostly I'm using a long system.
Mostly short. The advantage in short is they say that that you have the wire in your control. So the operator actually gets the control of the wire. And obviously it's a little bit less cumbersome because you don't have that wire going. So the accessories are separate for short wire systems. So the wires are short and so the stenting, stent placement system and everything else. We use the long wire system because well actually we get something mostly in relations होते हैं ना उसमें वो short wire आ जाता है. We just use it otherwise जो हमें खरीदते हैं the accessories that we buy are all
एक सिमिलर चीज बता रही थी कि स्कोप इक्विपमेंट आपका क्या है?
I cannot get it on finish.
आपको pancakes
Yes, but
They're very different.
So sometimes you have, this is a very good example here, having more than one screen actually is very useful. Because doctor is looking here, and it's not good for this. If you start doing lots of cases, you don't want to be doing this. So you need to make sure that when you're having, अब आजकल तो monitors जो regular monitors are only for what? जो कि एसिड जो होता है उसका
I definitely.
कितने का होता है CD वगैरह शरियार को पता होगा but not very expensive 10-15,000 rupees and you can put 2 screens and you will have things because sometimes you're turned like this and you're looking like this and trust me I've lost my back my neck and it's too late for me but आप लोग शुरू कर रहे हो make sure your table is of your height your tall should always be these are basic things that you need to be careful don't compromise on your neck don't compromise on your safety and your staff safety.
So, Pentex may about 50% of the time you will be in wrong position.
Really?
Yes. दूसरा ये है कि the elevator does not block the wire. मेरे पास actually दोनों system है Pentex and Olympus. And Pentex में when you line up candidate ideally half of the time you're in wrong position. You're not in short. आप short में try करें तो candidate उतनी दुनिया को go wrong to get to the view that आप because you can उसमें थोड़ा सा ही आपको disadvantage होता है कि आपके scope position all होती है. And secondly, your wire will not lock. The elevator है ना Pentex वो lock नहीं है. तो उसमें short wire के साथ काम करना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है तो most people are using long wire anyway. But those are don't think that both scopes are equal. Pentex and Olympus will give you different properties. It's good to know कि भाई इसको अगर आप नहीं हो तो दो दिन इस पे कर रहे हैं इस पे not be exactly reproducible होगा
Position is operator, patient or
patient तो इसके साथ ही आप right
ठीक है ठीक है
दो तरीके होते हैं एक तो क्या स्क्रीन क्रॉस दूसरी है कि patient more than one screen is really think मेरी preference would be in my cases to have the screen ahead of the patient. You see turn this way, like you take a section loading. Just like it is here, the diagram. Now, straight here, the patient will be laid down, knee and face that. As opposed to the strap, you have to
So now
Normally what I do is, in real patient, what I do is I use a little syringe and get a bit of info go that way. I'm puncturing this and rather than hurting the tip. So you need to have a sharp tip. And that way also the bubbles are gone and then I pass this thing.
okay that's interesting
That way, you know, you've got a punctured hole there already. So
so you're using a new biopsy valve every time
yes.
yeah if you're doing that it's sensible because you're using a new biopsy valve but not a new sphincterography.
In UK we used to use
UK,
new.
yeah.
In here, yes, we are reusing the sphincterotome.
So selective cannulation, you all know which direction you have to go in, right?
11 o'clock.
So 11 to 1 o'clock, more towards 11 o'clock or 11 to 12 really is CBD. And you're going straight and about 4-ish.
So now we've got, I think I'm there inside, so I'll just ask the my assistant to progress the wire. Push the wire probe. Yes, wire in. It's not going in? Okay. Okay. Try there. Yeah? जा रही है?
Yeah.
Okay.
जाएगी. Keep trying. Pull back करके
Pull
दोबारा
back करना.
Stricture tight है यार.
Try there. Try करें इधर. जा रही है? No? जा रही है. Okay.
Yeah.
More. Yeah. Is it in CBD? अब फ्लोरोस्कोपी आप बताएंगे.
तो ये मेरे हिसाब से तो back cardiac है. लेकिन doesn't matter. So you got into one of the ducts. Now the thing is that आप हमें जो है ना wire exchange.
Okay.
How do you go?
Right.
In your practice, what
So
you
what
can
I do is
It's
I
very
take.
important to have understanding of आपकी जो
Right.
language है ना, वो tech की और आपकी language
Same होनी चाहिए.
same in the sense you should be on the same page.
Okay. So what I do is I take a picture at that time, see whether the wire is adequately inside or not. If not, I ask the technician to, if you just push the wiring a little bit more, push the wiring a little bit more. Okay. So thank you. Stop. So what I'll do is now, okay, मैं आपको कहूँगा कि आप वायर पुश करें और मैं बाहर कैनुला निकालूंगा, ठीक है? So and I'll start making some noises like shook, and when I'm doing shook, you push the wire in and I'll take the scope, the cannula out, okay? Oh yeah, start pushing, shook, wire in. Okay, and now I've locked the wire, and then I'll just keep on exchanging in.
Okay, now this is an important point because you don't want to keep screening.
No.
The reason why you have these color changes, actually they help you. Now you've got that blue thing. I tell my tech, make sure that
This doesn't move.
and that's it. So you don't have to do any fluoro to change as long as you're monitoring this, and you can maybe take one spot if you want.
Yeah. So if we'll keep on doing it, screen there please, and then
Wire is in good position.
so and after that we'll just so wire in. Stop. Wire in. Yes, in. Stop. Okay. Wire in. More. In. You stop. ये आप in कर रहे हैं मगर ये it's not going in. इसको जरा straight करें.
You've got your elevator.
Yeah.
So it's not going to go in if your elevator
Okay.
is completely down.
So wire in. Okay. Stop. Okay. I will start again. In.
If your wiring is way deep, right?
Yeah.
then
Stop.
If this color comes out, one or two colors out, it's only
It's okay. Yeah.
less than a centimeter or around that.
Yeah.
So you don't worry about it.
That's fine. We'll start again. In.
How many of you always do a sphincterotomy before putting a stent? Or do not?
Okay.
Depends on the underlying cause. There is a stone there, then you can really do a sphincterotomy. If there is a stricture there, and when you pass the wire in, and you just
Maybe or not?
We always
You always do it.
Mostly we always do.
Thank you.
It's only a rare case. when
Experts.
I do it.
there is no contraindication.
Okay, I think in my practice, and I don't know right or wrong, but I don't think that there is an ERCP that I do where I wouldn't do a sphincter, where I wouldn't do a sphincter.
Is this sphincter?
For two reasons.
So actually-
Sometimes teaching is well here. So I need to do a sphincterotomy and I need to make sure my wire is not going to come out. Even if it comes out, then I'm not bothered. I personally feel that it eases things for me. One of the points that Khalid just made was about 10 French stents. We don't put 7 French stents except for our liver transplant patients. And that also is usually double 7 French stent. So the risk of pancreatitis, obviously, is there. This is just pure my feeling. I don't know how we can prove it or not, but I feel that when we place stents, plastic stents without sphincterotomy and with sphincterotomy, the life of plastic stent is longer when we do a sphincterotomy. This is just my observation.
I don't know.
Whether this is correct or not, I don't know. But I feel, Khalid, मेरी अपनी observation, that is pure observation, I don't know whether it is correct or not, is that when I place plastic stent, we used to, पहले बड़ा tension होता था sphincterotomy में.
तो सही है.
When I do sphincterotomy and put a plastic 10 French stent versus no sphincterotomy,
Okay, hang on.
the life of stent is longer when we do a sphincterotomy. Now here, we don't bring them back 3 to 4 months and change them. Here I've changed it. Here it's symptoms of the patient that will bring him or her back. So I tell them, if you have change in the color of your urine or if you have fever that lasts more than 24 hours, you need to come back and see us. And color of urine is something that I repeat, becoming darker and darker, then you need to come and see, rather than waiting. So we now don't do routine exchanges. And I've noticed that when we do a sphincterotomy and put a stent versus when we were not doing it, this was longer. But
No, this is true. And
Again,
you,
just wanted to
why-
confirm
why do you think
about the-
why is that true?
Can I just ask you, this gray catheter over the wire, is it long enough to go all the way or not?
sorry,
This gray catheter,
yeah, this has to go all the
All
way.
the way, okay,
all
yeah,
the
that's
way,
fine.
All the way. अगर वो अंदर नहीं जा रहा, but as long as आप release नहीं कर रहे,
Yeah.
it's okay. You just keep going it.
no, I mean,
This
I've
is
done
long
both
enough.
ways. I've done in both ways actually, that's why I'm asking.
No, when you used to have a system whereby your catheter is separate and this is separate,
Yeah.
then that's different. Then you need to put the wire way up,
Yes.
and then this is a joint system. So what is now going to happen is
Just
this is
use
not
the
going to
pusher.
be pushed.
Yeah.
This is the only thing that will be pushing. So this goes in. When the stent literally comes out, by that time your guiding catheter will be way in. So your catheter is fine. Just keep putting it in. नहीं, आप इसको पूरे assembly
Okay,
को दे रहे हैं.
that's fine. That's what I was
that's
asking.
Yeah, full assembly. Just keep going in, and now hold this and go, because this is just one assembly. Are you all with us?
Yeah.
So coming back to the point with the sphincterotomy and the stent cadency, what happens is when we do a sphincterotomy,
Yeah.
the wire and sludge, whatever it is not just coming through the stent. It's
Oh.
going around the stent.
Yeah.
So if you have just a stent in the
Pull the wire back 1 centimeter.
there's nothing flowing around the stent.
That's fine. Thank
So
you.
it has to come through the stent, everything. That's all. So that's why if you put a multiple stent, plastic stent, they may have better
Wire back.
because fluid goes
Thank you.
around and in between. the
Wire
stent
back.
and
Yeah,
goes
thank
back.
you.
So this-
Okay, this is important here. If this wire, the end that I have here, you guys can come here as well if you want to. If this wire is, let's say, stuck here in the intrahepatic duct, okay, and it's not moving, right? And you're trying to advance this whole assembly,
Yeah.
you will have difficulty.
That's right.
So it's very important to make sure that your wire is not stuck way in. We don't realize our wire goes up outside the liver. Sometimes
We have to
almost
pull the
outside
wire
the
back a
liver.
little bit as well.
Okay? So it's very important to make sure that this is free. So you do a spot fluoro, you check your wire is actually free, it's not stuck, keep advancing and making sure that he's actually pulling the wire out.
Yeah, I'm asking him to pull the wire back
So-
tiny bit.
So now he's got the guiding catheter in, keep going in, keep going in. So the markers are about 6 centimeters apart.
Pull the wire back.
ठीक है, अब आपका ये आ गया, right? So now,
Okay.
depending on how long your stent is, you need to put this, obviously depending on how long your stent is going to be. So generally speaking, my very simple principle is that if there is a distal biliary stricture, 10-7 is enough. Okay? If there is a stricture that's going above the cystic duct,
Okay.
okay, and up to the level of the porta, then I'm okay with 10-9, 10-10. Okay? But if I'm going into the intrahepatic system, then I go to 10-12. If it's deep intrahepatic, then that's 10-15, but then obviously you can measure it. There is a very simple way of measuring the exact length. We generally don't do it with experience. I don't know of many people, but we always teach. So उसमें अगर आप, it's better to place a longer stent than a shorter stent. ठीक है, shorter stent means you haven't achieved anything. लंबा stent क्या करेगा? लंबा हो जाएगा. ठीक है. So now once you've got your catheter in deep enough, okay,
Then release.
now you release the
Release the
stent,
stent.
right?
Yes, release the stent. Yes,
Done?
yes.
So I'm trying to milk the
Yeah. Why is it not going?
because I think I'm
Because I am holding this.
yeah, okay.
Just to show you that if we don't pull this back, कर क्या रहे हैं आप? इसको रेल रोड कर रहे हैं. ये पुश कर रहा है स्टेंट को. स्टेंट है इसके ऊपर. ये जब तक नहीं हिलेगा स्टेंट ऊपर नहीं जाने वाला.
Yes.
Okay. Now see what happens. अब करो. Pull back करो.
Yes.
Pull back करो.
Yes.
Pull back.
So then it should start going in. It's a little tight here, so obviously शुरू में थोड़ा सा आपको टाइम लगेगा.
Kink हो गया यहाँ.
ये आपको प्रॉब्लम तब होती है जब आप रीयूज कर रहे होते हैं इक्विपमेंट. नए इक्विपमेंट में नहीं होता है. मुस्तफा एंड खालिद don't even know about it because they only use new accessories. We have this.
ये kink हो रहा है.
वो इसकी वजह से किंक हो रहा है. तो आपका फॉल्ट नहीं है. अकरम,
Yes,
पुल
sir.
बैक करो.
Yes, sir.
पुल बैक करो. डालें आप अंदर.
Pull back.
और सब डालें. Just going in. Now,
Kink.
what are the ways of इसमें अच्छा है ये. I think it's gone in a little bit. ये
Yeah.
बताएं आ गया स्टेप.
Yes.
Going through. ये यहाँ पे थोड़ा टाइट है. मुझे ये बताएं. What are the ways of bringing of what are you doing actually to advance the stent?
So I'm just pushing through there and
Yeah.
then milking it with the elevator.
Okay, so that's one way.
And
What other options do you have?
I'm
If you look at this screen, if you want to bring your ampulla close to you,
you just use the
to
wheels.
hug you,
Yeah.
what can you do? What options do you have?
So you can use the wheel to see where you are,
Yeah.
and so I can't come in and
No,
so
but wheel नहीं. I'm saying आपको ये ampulla को अपने करीब
करीब करना है.
So आपने स्टेंट को अंदर डालना है. एक तो आपने मुझे बता दिया एलिवेटर. आपने अंदर डाला, एलिवेटर से एलिवेट किया, and that actually advances. That's one.
Yes.
Okay, I try and avoid doing that a lot of times, and I'll tell you why. ठीक है?
Big wheel को down.
Big wheel down करेंगे तो वो तो दूर ले जाएगा. अपनी तरफ से.
Yes,
That's second option. Third option. So you can actually turn yourself. Okay. This will show you in the patient.
Yeah.
You are not having it because you've got a loop here.
Yes.
So if I एक करके दिखाएंगे. If I was to straighten myself a little bit, and if I had to bring this stent in a patient, I would be अगर बहुत tight हो, so I would like the big wheel to be towards me. ठीक है? I would be going towards this side. ठीक है? So that will push that, and then at the same time I'll be pulling the scope in, pulling back, and that will actually eventually take the stent. So sometimes when it's a difficult stricture, we're applying all these four things at the same time, and that's why a lot of times when you're having difficulty यार stent नहीं जा रहा, उसकी वजह पहली चीज you make sure that your catheter, guiding catheter is not stuck. He's pulling it back. Second thing, then you realize, yeah, this is very tight. So when I know where the stricture is, I'll tell him, okay, I'm approaching the stricture. then we need to have a serious, well, a proper coordination. He needs to pull back and I will do all these 4 things at the same time. And it's simple. You have this up, this goes up, okay, and you pull back the scope and usually it will advance the stent. One of the things when you're stenting is very important is that, 1 second Dr. Sahab, that if I advance the stent and I let it come out, okay, and
You can lose it.
अगर loop form होने लगे and my distance is not close. The closer you are to the ampulla, the better it is, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
Especially of course stent. But you want the ampulla, that's where you're working. You don't want it to be far. Okay? So those are the tricks that we do now. I've just straightened the scope and I've pulled back. Sometimes with difficult stents and difficult strictures, I actually, while I've got this, I'll hold it with my bridge, I'll give it a long loop position. And I'll then long loop position my advance karke, then I'll shorten it again and then it will give me that thirst that I want. So very tight and difficult strictures. So you must remember that when you want to bring your ampulla close to you, which obviously means anything that you have will go in, you have 4 options. Okay? And we don't realize, but you will see that when we will be doing it, that I try and avoid the elevator. Once your elevator is gone, we can't get it repaired here. Whenever they repair, it's never the same. Okay? These guys don't have this problem. Okay? So I try and avoid it. जब मुझे elevator पे pressure feel होने लगे, I'll let it go a little bit. मुझे ज़्यादा pressure नहीं देना, I don't want my elevator. Okay? So that's the concept, doctor. आपका थोड़ा सा scope जो था ना वो actually क्योंकि वो position उसकी उस तरह है ना. Obviously this is a dummy, but the job that it's doing is almost okay. So we've got the stent through. The same position. It's just the position even in the dummy. We've got.
Yes.
So we managed to get that. Now what I wanted you to do was ये आगे आपका stent अपनी जगह पे. Pull back करो थोड़ा. You get me a new thing for this. Now we are out.
Yes.
Now you tell me what you're going to do to leave the.
Okay. So
How would you coordinate?
So now what I normally do is I very rarely use the guiding catheter on top of the wire. So what I do usually ask is just pull the wire back. And the
What do you mean guiding it?
guiding catheter I only use it for Amsterdam straight stents.
Okay.
For double picted I only use the wire with the stent going over the wire only. No
10
guiding.
French wala?
No, 7.
अच्छा, हम तो
I
10
never
No.
हाँ.
This is 10 French.
Yeah, so in
So
Pakistan.
7 French तो हम use ही नहीं करते ना.
Hmm.
You see, for drainage 7 French is useless.
Yeah.
By and large, except for transplant. तो अगर आप stent के लिए stone के लिए डाल रहे हो 7 French double pigtail, 7 French के stent you do have an assembly now, which is a 5 French guiding catheter which goes through the 7 French, but that helps when you've got a very tight stricture. But by and large, for 7 French you don't need a guiding catheter. You just guide it over the wire, right? So with the 10 French you do. So इसमें जो है ना अब आप 10 French क्योंकि आप यहाँ पे करेंगे तो आप 10 French को अगर आपने for example now you need to release the stent.
Yes.
So what I'm
So guiding catheter basically हमें निकालना है and wire निकालना है.
guiding catheter और wire निकालना है.
Yes.
और guiding catheter और wire निकालने के साथ साथ हमें अपनी stent की position को वहीं रखना है जहाँ वो
जहाँ पे है अभी है.
This purple thing will hold the position there
Outside the
while
scope.
the technician will pull it out.
So अब आप guiding
So
catheter
it's very
और wire
important for you to
निकाल
just
दीजिए.
make sure that it doesn't move.
जी निकालिए. All out. हो गया.
See, the advantage of mannequin or dummy is that I can spend this much time explaining to you आगे पीछे करना. I can't do that on the patient. ठीक है? ये change करवा दो. And all the hands-on who want to have a go at it, you're welcome. इसमें थोड़ी सी आपको वो करनी पड़ती है. Just make sure that you know your scope is straight. That's the key thing. So you keep on bringing the scope straight and eventually it should be where it is. थोड़ा सा वो move करना पड़ता है, but this is where I think is as good a ampulla as you're gonna get in this one. But वो जो मैं आपको दिखा रहा था, ampulla को मैं अपने करीब लेके आ गया. One method, ठीक है? Pulling back should bring you in a normal patient thing. When you pull back, even here you can see it. Even in a dummy, I'm just pulling back and look what's happening with this.
Close.
Okay, it's coming close to me, right? This is what I like. This is what my position should be when I'm actually cannulating, right? अच्छा. So elevator तीसरा हो गया for catheter. लेकिन अगर एम्पुला को सिर्फ करीब लाना है पोजीशन के लिए तो बिग वी towards you, ठीक है? Scope towards you. You want to bring it so it's towards you. Big wheel is towards you, and this movement actually helps. So in the human में आपको मैं दिखाऊंगा when I get a chance to place a step how I use this movement as well. Sometimes very simple strictures में मैं सिर्फ ये और ये करके करता हूँ. I don't use the elements. Okay, so whatever it is. आप अपने जहन में imagine करके because when you're practicing and now we've got see how do you